Hello, and today I'll be talking about indices. More specifically, I'll be solving the questions which involve negative indices with square roots and cube roots. The first thing you need to know before attempting this sort of questions is this. A negative and a negative will give you a positive. A positive and a positive will also give you a positive. A negative and a positive will give you a negative. And finally, a positive and a negative will give you a negative. So, the first thing you need to know is what a square root and a cube root is. First thing is what they look like. A square root is this symbol, while a cube root is the same thing, just with the number 3 at the top. And now on to how to solve these type of questions. Well, to find the square root of a number, you want to find a number that when multiplied by itself gives you the original number in the square root. In other words, to find the square root of 36, you need to find a number that when multiplied by itself will give you 36, which is 6, as 6 times 6 equals 36. Now, onto cube roots. Cube root is similar. However, if you want to find the cube root of a number, you want to find a number that when multiplied by itself 3 times gives you the number in the cube root. For example, if the question was cube root 8, you would need to find a number that when multiplied by itself 3 times will give you 8. And this number is 2, because 2 times 2 times 2 gives you 8. Hence, giving you the answer 2. Now onto some 3 index laws you need to know. The first one being square root x can also be written as x to the power of 1 over 2. The second one is x to the power of negative c can be written as 1 over x to the power of c. The c is now positive because it was moved from the top to the bottom, which changes a negative indice into a positive indice. And the last one is cube root x can also be written as x to the power of 1 over 3. Now onto some questions. So the first question we're going to do is square root 225 a to the power of negative 12 and c to the power of negative 4. The first thing we're going to do is put square root 225 into the calculator, which will give you 15. What we have now is 15 a to the power of negative 12 and c to the power of negative 4. What we have to do now is divide the indices by 2. So negative 12 divided by 2 will give you negative 6, and negative 4 divided by 2 will give you negative 2. Hence, giving you the final answer of 15 a to the power of negative 6 and c to the power of negative 2. Now what we're going to do is solve this question, which is cube root 216 a to the power of 27 c to the power of negative 18. We're going to do it slightly differently and use the bracket method. So the first thing we're going to do is put 216 a to the power of 27 and c to the power of negative 18 in a bracket, all to the power of 1 over 3, using the index laws we mentioned previously. Now what I'm going to do is use one of the index laws and put 216 to the power of 1 over 3 in my calculator, which will give me the answer of 6. Now what we have to do is times the powers, which will be 27 times 1 over 3, which will give us 9, and do the same thing again, negative 18 times 1 over 3, which will give us negative 6. Now that we've done everything, we have our final answer of 6, a to the power of 9, and c to the power of negative 6. However, we have to leave this in positive index, which will give us the final answer of 6, a to the power of 9 over c to the power of 6, because moving a negative indice to the bottom of the fraction makes it positive. Thank you for listening to this video, and I hope you learned a thing or two about questions that involve negative indices, square roots, and cube roots.